Setting a Better Example. That's today's class, named Setting a Better Example. First thing I'm going to do, I want to open up with the article. This article is a follow-up to what we read last year. This is the final outcome regarding the Black Hebrew Israelite. I hate that term. Black Hebrew Israelite. You know what they say when they call us that? They say you fake. You ain't the real deal. That's why we don't accept that term. You're the black ones. You're the Black Hebrew one. You're the fake ones. Can we blow that a little bigger? Can we zoom in on that? It says, cult leader. Cult leader gets 2 life sentences for the murders of a little boy and one of his wives. Peter Moses Jr. will spend the rest of his days locked up after prosecutors in Durham, North Carolina found him responsible for the deaths of Jadon Higginbotham and Antoinette McCoy. The former leader of the Black Hebrew Israelites apologized in court for his actions. Let's read that. That's him. Let's back to the beginning and let's hear some volume.
The other big story right now this noon, Peter Moses Jr. is going to prison for the rest of his life, convicted of orchestrating the murders of a 4-year-old boy and a 28-year-old woman. Both bodies found buried and nearly mummified in a Durham backyard. Cheyenne Rodriguez was in court this morning as it came to an end, and it was very emotional. Cheyenne, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, Barbara. It was emotional for both sides, but today it was the oldest victim's mother who spoke out after the sentencing. The final sentence in the Durham cult murder case was officially handed down today to the accused leader, Pete Moses Jr.
He is to serve consecutive life sentences without the benefit of parole.
Prosecutors say Moses shot and killed the 4-year-old son of one of the cult members and was behind the murder of another member who tried to escape, Antoinette McCoy. Her mother spoke before the sentence.
That's the only thing that gives me closure, is to know that she knew God for herself. But this is something I'd never dreamt that I would have to deal with.
Moses looked directly at her for a long period and apologized after she offered to talk with him someday.
Then I leave that up to you, okay? You take it.
Afterward, McCoy's mother said looking him in the eye was painful.
How I could really choke him. But, you know, that was just a little bit of anger. But I looked at him with more hurt than anything. Because I couldn't believe, and this is like a nightmare, really and truly, that he would be so deceitful.
Yvonne McCoy says her daughter believed Moses was going to marry her, and his apology only goes so far.
I felt a little cold and a little bitter, but the compassionate side of me has said, Yvonne, you're a Christian.
She says she now believes Moses is mentally ill after defense attorneys said he'd previously been diagnosed with bipolar disorder.
His illness made him do something monstrous. He is deeply, deeply remorseful.
Moses' family did not want to be on camera. 4 others were previously sentenced in this case. McCoy's mother says she does feel some closure today. Right now we're live in Durham. Cheyenne Rodriguez, ABC 11 Eyewitness News.
All right, Cheyenne, thank you.
Now to breaking news in Durham. Sentences handed down in the so-called cult murder cases and the murders of a 4-year-old boy, Jadon Higginbotham, and 28-year-old Antoinette McCoy. Jadon's mother and LaRonda Smith learned their punishment a short time ago. Tamara Gibbs is live at the Durham County Courthouse with more. Tamara?
Hi, John. First, we want to let you know we were expecting to see the ringleader of that cult, Peter Moses, today, but we've just learned that he won't be sentenced until next week because of a travel delay with his attorney. That said, today's sentencing was very emotional, with the victims' families saying they came here for closure.
For the first time, the father of Jadon Higginbotham faces his ex-wife since the brutal murder of their 4-year-old son.
There's just no excuse to me whatsoever, no matter how scared, no matter what it was.
Vanya Sisk, one of 5 people charged in the so-called cult murder case, was sentenced to 30 years in prison as part of a plea deal. Her attorney tells the judge how Sisk was under the command of her boyfriend, Peter Moses. How she watched the cult leader shoot her son and later ordered her to kill housemate Antoinette McCoy.
He was able to exert a level of control over his followers that is difficult, if not impossible, for people outside that group to understand.
Especially difficult for the victims' families. McCoy's sister speaking out against the plea deal.
She was right with it because the other defendants are saying the same thing, that she was just as worse as him. And for her lawyers to paint him out to just be the monster, she's a monster also. To take someone's life like that and to be pregnant your own self and to give birth in jail, you a monster. So we're looking at a monster here in this courtroom.
The only public apology from the remaining 5 suspects coming from LaRonda Smith. She looked directly at McCoy's family in the courtroom, recalling how a friendship turned to murder.
She didn't have no business to sleep. And I let her get in my bed, you know, and she treated my kids like they were her own.
Well, the plea deals for the 5 remaining suspects in this case range from 6 to 30 years in prison. Initially, 7 people were charged in this case. Peter Moses' mother and sister were exonerated. Their charges, rather, were dismissed against them. And again, Peter Moses in court next week for a life sentence without parole sentencing. Back to you.
Tamara Gibbs live at the Durham County Courthouse. Thank you.
And you, we're going to talk about you sisters that hook up. You sisters that get you a freak on. Just tell you what it is. You get in these relationships with these dudes, and you wife number 2, you wife number 3 or 4 or 5. Some of you wife number 8. Remind me to talk about them. Don't let me forget. Come on, you got it, Isaac?
Galatians 2 and verse 5. To whom we gave place by subjection, no, not for an hour, that the truth of the gospel might continue with you.
You see what the Apostle Paul did? He didn't sit around and argue. He said, no, not for an hour. So we got to have that same posture. Don't sit back, debate. No, you don't agree with this? Goodbye. That's it. Okay? Now, the kid, he said the little boy was gay because he smacked another little boy on the buttocks. Give me the scripture that says foolishness is bound. Give me that one. That's what we always got to remember about kids. I know, look, we get boys that grow up, that act effeminate. I know we see it all the time.
The book of Proverbs 22 and verse 15. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child.
So in children, you're going to see foolish things happen like that. It's going to happen all the time. And it'll go, and that's why the scriptures tell you to watch them, to guide them in the scriptures. Kids are going to do stupid things. Read that again.
Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child.
So don't be shocked when your kid does something foolish. Okay? Where you at again?
Proverbs 22 verse 15.
Go ahead.
Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him.
But the rod of correction, beat that behind. Don't punch him in the chest. Don't kill him. Don't punch him in the face. Beat him on the sides like it says. Let's get that in Ecclesiastes, Sirach, chapter 30. Let's get that. Ecclesiastes chapter 30. Let's start at verse 6.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 30 and verse 6. He left behind him an avenger against his enemies.
Wait, I'm sorry. Start at 8. Start at 8.
Verse 8. In horse not broken becometh headstrong, and a child left to himself will be willful.
So that's why the scriptures tell you, don't leave a child to himself. You ever see these white kids that's in their mama and father's house with the doors closed, making bombs, drawing things about murder and all that? You're not supposed to leave children to themselves. That, in my house, and when I was growing up, it was illegal to close the door. You closed the door in my father's house, not only was the door ripped off the hinges, but you got beat with the door. That's how serious that thing was. You could not close the door in our father's house at all. So, read that again.
Ecclesiasticus 30 and verse 8. In horse not broken becometh headstrong, and the child left to himself will be willful.
Come on.
Cocker thy child.
Play with your child.
and he shall make thee afraid.
He's going to make you afraid. Why? Because you never corrected him on all the evil that you witnessed him or her do. Go ahead.
Play with him, and he will bring thee to heaviness.
Play with him. And that play with doesn't mean like, having fun. It's talking about winking at the evil that you see the child do, the lies, the disrespect. That's what it's talking about. Go ahead.
Laugh not with him, lest thou have sorrow with him.
Right. When he does something wrong, don't giggle at it. No, that ain't funny. Don't do that again. Go ahead.
And lest thou gnash thy teeth in the end.
Come on.
Give him no liberty in his youth, and wink not at his follies.
Now, all of these are the guidelines on how to raise children. Now, you can choose not to do it if you want, but you're going to rue the day when you disregard God's program. Go ahead.
Bow down his neck while he is young, and beat him on the sides.
Beat him where?
On the sides.
Where?
On the sides.
Some of you sisters, I want to tell y'all, you need to start, not only some of you apply that's true, but some of you go a step beyond. You punching a child in the chest, don't do that. Especially your little light-skinned, high yellow kids, y'all better watch them. Any little thing, beep, you see a big bruise there. Then they ask school about how you get that mark. See, my kids all jacked up. They look like they burnt in the front. I jack them up. You don't see no bruises. Nah, I'm just joking. I'm joking. Them light skin, you gotta just watch them. The Bible says, read that again.
Bow down his neck while he is young, and beat him on the sides while he is a child.
The Bible's telling, God is telling you where to whoop his butt, on the sides, on the meaty part of his legs, the meaty part. Go ahead.
Lest he wax stubborn and be disobedient unto thee.
If you don't do that, the child will wax stubborn and be disobedient unto thee. Go ahead.
And so bring sorrow to thine heart.
And bring sorrow to thy heart. Now let me tell you another thing. Some of y'all in here, y'all know who you are. I ain't going to point at you, but you know who you are. I'm going to point up at the ceiling. That way nobody feel like I'm pinpointing them. If you have kin or people, I'm going to tell y'all a story. Story time. 1088. Sister and brother was with us. They got about, how many kids they had? 6. Anyway, the mama was a preacher. And she didn't like the way they was having the kids not celebrating Christmas and all that. So she says, I think you're beating those children, you're abusing those children. And she would sit down with the kids and ask, are they beating on you? Are they doing this to you, doing that to you? And the mother and father knew what the mother-in-law was doing. They did nothing about it. Sure enough, ACS comes and takes the kids. Now they're crying to us, and we're like, sister, if you knew your mother-in-law was the damn devil, she's questioning your kids about are they getting abused, and y'all sitting there. I wish my parents would ask my kids that. Guess what? They will never see my kids again. But that never comes up. That don't come up with me. Are we beating our kids? But if that is I'm going to hit both sides of the coin. Don't worry. I got y'all. Don't worry. Don't get nervous. If your mother-in-law or somebody is scrutinizing that, you better beware. Because all they need to do is make one phone call. The police will be at your door. With ACS, the kids will be gone. I'm telling you. So if your mother-in-law, your father-in-law is even hinting at that foolishness, they got to go. They will never see the kids again because they're a danger to your family. I'm telling y'all straight. So some of y'all get simple, but that's my mama, and I'm scared of mama. Because you know you're scared of your mama. That's what it is. I wish I would be scared of my mama. Here's another story. My father-in-law, my wife's daddy, he wanted my daughter to go to the store on Pickens Avenue by herself. I don't know if y'all know about Pickens Avenue in Brownsville. I'm sitting in the car, he yells out, hey! I'm like, yo, what's up? What's going on? How you doing? Can your daughter go to the store for me? Who's going with her? She go by herself. I said, no. What? No. He said, yo, my man, you taking this Bible stuff too far. You overprotective, my man. He starts screaming. I roll up the window in the car. And I just laugh. I'm just sitting there. He mad as hell. She ain't going to the store by herself. ain't going to the store by herself. I see Negroes over there in Brownsville, Brooklyn. Things happen like that, and she ain't going by herself. So my father-in-law was mad, but he'll get over it. I said, he'll get over it. All right. You brothers and sisters here scared of your father-in-laws, your mother-in-laws, your mamas. You need to be ashamed of yourself because they're going to destroy your family. Now, the flip side of that, there's an old expression. Where there's smoke, y'all know the rest? Now what I mean by that? For somebody, my parents, my mother, it never popped in their head that me and my wife are abusing our kid. Now, yeah, we did kick their butt at times, but they never saw like, oh, what's going on here? There was never no sign, nothing like that. Another story. Everybody's over the house. Brothers and sisters come over my house. We say, all you kids go play. You know, kids run and play. But there's a couple of little kids just sitting there like this. I say, hey, what's wrong with you? Look, go play. They trembling, looking at y'all know what I'm talking about, y'all. You know what I'm talking about. I say, yo, something ain't right here. I seen children should not be fearful like this. Something's going on. We need to talk to the parents. Something ain't right. Why are these children afraid to go play? There's little signs like that will make people go, something ain't right. And again, we had the Most High put it on to intervene because the courts got involved. Now I'm telling that to all you parents out there, be mindful. Be mindful. Now, let's move on. Get me Hebrews 13:4. Remember we went over last week about in the burial ground there was a little dead, 5 toddlers dead with chains on them. This ain't that day and age. Your kids, let them go play a little bit. Let them have fun. I ain't saying play all day. Give them chores like God says. But they should have a happy childhood. Shouldn't be sitting around terrified. And you got to get them to the point where they're well trained, where you don't have to hit them. Just give them the look. My parents had us trained. And when that didn't work, oh man, the back of that hand sure did work. Pow! Shoot! Where we at?
Hebrews 13 and verse 4. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled, but whoremongers and adulterers God will judge.
Marriage is honorable. That's what we want all y'all to understand. We want all the other camps to understand that. Marriage is honorable in all. And the Bible teaches us what marriage consists of. Give me Tobit 7:13. Tobit 7:13, 14. Now we go over this a lot, but we don't go over it enough. If you got a swinging couple coming up in here singing that song.
Tobit chapter 7 and verse 13. Then he called his daughter Sarah, and she came to her father, and he took her by the hand and gave her to be wife to Tobias, saying, Behold, take her after the law of Moses.
Take her after the law of Moses. I want you to remember that part. Go ahead.
And lead her away to thy father. And he blessed them. And called Edna his wife, and took paper, and did write an instrument of covenants, and sealed it.
That was the custom of Israel. That was the law in Israel. That's what we did. So now, I'm going to tell you what's going on amongst Israelites now. As we have been pushing this verse, here's the evil part behind it. The brothers are getting a piece of paper like this and go, oh, after the Lord Moses? Okay. Raheem Jackson and what's her name? All 3 of my wives, give me their names. Okay. Here's the paper. That's not what this is talking about. How do we know that what we just read in Tobit, now I'm testing, I just want these brothers in the center here. How do we know that what we read there is not a Negro sitting in his house writing a ketubah or whatever on his own merits or whatever it's called?
Like, for example, in Matthew chapter 2, they were taxed together as a spouse wife. It has to be sealed. So whenever you get taxed together with your wife, you need documents that approve it. Just you writing down on it, that's not validated in courts.
Okay. Pari, let me see what you got.
Because according to the law of marriage in Deuteronomy 24:3, you're supposed to give her a bill of divorce. So in order to give a bill of divorce, you got to have something that's going to cancel that out, which is a marriage certificate.
Nope. Jan was warm. Yahshua.
It's going to say, well, first, according to Deuteronomy 28, in one of all things, we got to go to the white man for those things because that's the law when you're getting married. And then in Romans 13, it says be subject to the higher powers. So again, you got to fall under those laws pertaining to marriage based on the captivity that we're in.
Okay, I like that. I like your answer. I like John's answer. Let me hear you, Zeph.
In verse 14, it says, and did write an instrument of covenant and sealed it, meaning he had it notarized.
Okay, I like that too. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to show you how all this ties together. Just pay attention.
Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 13. If any man take a wife and go in unto her and hate her,
he don't like her,
and give occasions of speech against her, and bring up an evil name upon her, and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid.
She wasn't a virgin.
Then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the token of the damsel's virginity.
Because when a hymen breaks, when you have sex with a woman who has never had sex, the hymen breaks, she bleeds, the blood goes on the sheets, and the parents took the sheets. Go ahead.
Take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city in the gate.
Stop right there. Stop right there. Read that bottom precept again.
Take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city in the gate.
I want y'all to pay close attention. When we were in our kingdom, there were elders in every city that took care of issues like this, where their word was law and you had to abide in it. Do our people have that today? No. So you get women who hook up with a Negro named Raheem Umfufu Jackson or something like that. Give her a rickety piece of paper. Here's my ketubah. Take it. Now they splitting up. They arguing over things. You don't want me no more? He go, no, I don't want you no more. They're going to get into a fight. I'm divorcing you. She says, well, that's my car and that's mine. He goes, get out. Who is she going to go to? Who can she go to get justice? Bezalel, you said nobody? Right, because even if she goes to Esau, guess what Esau going to ask for? Let me see the papers. He got this ketubah that he scribbled with crayons. You sisters that get hooked up like you deserve what you get. You just silly.
And the courts will tell you to say, we don't recognize that garbage. Get the hell out of my courtroom.
Exactly. What Esau got with those certificates they got from Tobit 7, 13, and it's all from the Bible. Now, like Jan mentioned in, give me that scripture in Matthew or Luke. Where is it? When they went to get taxed. Luke. Yes.
Could you imagine these same brothers if they go to work for 2 weeks straight and their manager comes out and says, here's your pay. And they look at it and says, this is $700. He's like, where's my check? He's like, that's a check.
Oh, man. So y'all can get deceived if y'all want with these camps. And I'm telling you, what we saw with that brother that's got 2 life sentences, it's one of those situations. We laughing about it, but it's reality. It's a real thing, and it's currently going on to this day. Where we at, Isaac?
Luke 2 and verse 5. Luke 2 verse 5.
All right. Start at 1.
Verse 1.
Listen good.
And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And this taxing was first made when Cyrenius was governor of Syria. And all went to be taxed, everyone into his own city. And Joseph also went up from Galilee, out of the city of Nazareth, into Judea, unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, to be taxed with Mary, his espoused wife, being great with child.
To be taxed with marry his espoused wife. To be taxed with marry. What do they call that today? To be taxed with marry his espoused wife. Zakai.
Joint filings.
Joint filings. Rome was not dealing with no dumb Negro bull crap. I got to use nice words. Talking about, here's my ketubah. I wrote it on a piece of paper in crayons. That's my wife. Get that. Rome would decimate. You'd be destroyed. They didn't play like that. But lo and behold, here in America, you got that good old American Negro.
Could you imagine how the courts are looking at the woman and say, you dumb sister. He's running game all over you. You ain't married to this guy. This guy is playing you and the other 5 women that
exactly.
you with.
Yes.
And that also shows, because you got some brothers that say, well, no, the elders, they had elders in power at that time, but they were still subject unto Rome. So they still had to do it. So they couldn't go to the elders.
Exactly. I hope y'all understand that. So here in these last days, y'all fight. That's why we had to put the brother out. He playing, I don't see that scripture. I don't accept that. Then you got to go. He looking over at the women. She looking over at the men. Get out. Just go. From there, let's go to Deuteronomy 22. Now this plays a key part because we got a phone call. Brother said, call Deacon Abiel. So listen, from what I hear, my wife, my second wife, has fled to Oklahoma. Fled to Oklahoma. So Deacon Abiel, who's your brother? Who's your wife? He says her name. He go, oh yeah, that sister is here. She is here. She's married to you. She didn't tell me that. I didn't know she. Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna get to the bottom of it right now. So phone calls went around. But I am glad at the point that Israel can reach out and call one another. But the reason I bring up this story is for you brothers that meet sisters. We always tell you, ask these women if they've dealt with another brother in an Israelite camp. As it turned out, she has been married with this brother, living as wife number 2 for a whole year. They got into a fight. She gets mad. She goes to Oklahoma. I told you about them traveling women. Shalom, brother. Pick one. Shalom, brother. You know, I was just reading the scriptures and God opened my eyes to the truth that every woman should have one man. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, she lived with that dude as wife number 2 for a year. Can we read Deuteronomy 22 and 28?
Deuteronomy 22 and verse 28. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her,
and
lie with her,
have sex with her,
and they be found,
because they was having sex in secret without the father's acknowledgement. Go ahead.
Then the man that lay with her,
that lay with her,
shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver.
Why does the law say he had to give the girl's father 50 shekels of silver? Why? Let's get it. 22 and 16.
Exodus 22 verse 16.
16 and 17 is what we want. Listen good.
And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife.
He shall. I want y'all to look. I know a lot of blacks and Latinos have trouble with the English language. He shall surely endow her to be his wife. Are they married yet? No. He's been having sex with her. He enticed her. He's having sex, but it says they're not married yet. That's not his wife yet. Read it again, verse 16.
And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife.
He shall, future tense, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. Watch this. Next verse.
If her father utterly refused to give her unto him.
If her father utterly refused. The father don't like him. Why don't the father like him? Because he went through the back door. And I don't mean like that. He didn't go about marriage the right way. Because the right way, he's supposed to speak to who first? The father. He didn't do that. He snuck around, dealing with the woman. She's dumb as a rock. She went along with it. Read verse 17 again.
If her father utterly refused to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins.
So you had to pay money for that. If the daddy didn't like you, you had to pay a dowry. Now, which goes back to the history. Remember with Samson. Remember that Samson's father-in-law, he had to pay a dowry. What do you want? No, that was David. Saul said, get me 100 foreskins of the Philistines. He said it because he didn't like David. He wanted David to be put to death. He didn't like him. Okay, now, back to Deuteronomy 22.
Deuteronomy 22 and verse 28. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her, and lie with her, and they be found, then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver.
He had to pay that dowry because he went about dealing with her the wrong way. He was supposed to go to the father first. The father gives permission. They start seeing one another, courting, then marriage. That's how it was supposed to be. Read it again.
Then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver.
Because he went about it the wrong way. Go ahead.
And she shall be his wife.
And she shall, look at the word, shall be his wife. Right?
Because he hath humbled her.
Because he hath humbled her sexually. Go ahead.
He may not put her away all his days.
He may not put her away all his days. Now, verse 28 and 29, the relevance for it is today. You get a lot of men in these Israelite camps who meet sisters and sex them. And they go, you'll read this. It said, the law says he may not put her away all his days. Y'all see that? So now as the law's coming out, because when it says she shall be his wife, what else did he have to do? That part right there. And she shall be his wife. What did he have to do, Leon?
He had to have his own place, he had to have a job, and he couldn't live at his parents' house.
What else did he need? What else did he need? That we read in Tobit. You know the answer.
Oh, the instrument of covenants.
He needed an instrument of covenants. It had to be done. It had to be done. But lo and behold, what year is this? 2013? This is what you get. This is what you sisters are getting, and you are allowing yourself to be hooked up with. A piece of paper written with Crayola crayons. Y'all are simple as hell. From there, Deuteronomy 24 and 1. Yes, Lord.
Yeah, man, then by the sister doing that, she don't love us, man. She put us right in the corner. You understand? Because if she really showed the love to among us, she'll never come among our congregation with the foolishness.
Right.
You understand? Now she put us in the corner with another camp. But she came all shalom. That's the devil. Your sister was the devil, man.
Exactly. Now, that's why we said we love all our brothers and sisters. We don't agree scripturally with some doctrines like that marriage thing. We don't agree with what they're teaching because it keeps our sisters in whoredom. There's no responsibility. The women work, the man stays home. All that's contrary to the Bible. Contrary.
Right. It's all based on lust. That's what it is. It's not. They're not trying to be scripturally correct. Because there's a whole lot of laws in this Bible that they won't even bother with. But they'll harp on that because they hope the Bible will justify their appetite for lust. That's all it is.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
And like we tell you, sisters, something happened to you, wife number 2, number 3. There was a movie about that. What's the name of that movie? With Frankie, what's his name? The singer. Frankie Lyman. He had a couple of women. Why do fools fall in love?
The copyrights of Why Do Fools Fall in Love, a song by Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers, are worth millions. Amira Lyman, Frankie's widow, claims that she should inherit Frankie's royalties. All she has to do is prove that her marriage is valid.
And the court said the only woman we want to hear is the woman with papers. That's the one that's going to inherit what Frankie Lyman has. And the one with the papers won. All them other women, you sister, you stupid. She said, go home, hoes. You hoes, go home. So, I was talking to Deacon Abiel. I said, listen, if the sister is sincere, because, you know, women try to fool you. I was reading the Bible, and she never reveals that she's been banging this dude in the other camp. Never reveals that. Oh, yes, I was reading the scriptures, and I really believe about the one wife thing. Really? So now it comes out. The phone call is made. We get the phone call. That sister right there, pan the camera, that one right there. That's my wife. And he's like, what the hell? So that's why when the camera pans, you see a sister do this. Telling you, watch that.
And we looking too. When we see their head go down, we're going to put the camera in that spot and it says stand up.
So the thing is, if the sister was sincere, she would go back, because she never even revealed why she left. A lot of times they leave because they got into a fight, an argument. So she's going to bounce and get another man. No, that's ungodly. The righteous thing to do, if you was dealing with that man, you go right back to him and say what? Listen, I'm your wife, you my husband, let's do it. Let's follow what the scriptures say. Let's be wed the proper way. Let's have an instrument of covenants the right way. That's what she would do, but not sneak up and sneak out the house. The dude didn't even know what she was. That's why I said she fled. Where we at? Deuteronomy 24:1.
Deuteronomy 24, verse 1. When a man has...
Wait, I'm sorry, I gotta say this. Because if the woman decides she don't want to be with him no more, can she remarry again? No. If she gonna be with us, she gotta be what? Single. Remain on. Give me that in 1 Corinthians 7, please. 1 Corinthians 7. Y'all know the verse. I ain't looking at it. About if she depart. That one. Then we hear the horror stories. But brother, he beats me. And now we ain't for violence, but guess what? That is not giving you a ticket to commit adultery. Here's my ticket to commit adultery. Get out of here. What verse we at? Come on, y'all. Isaac, call in and read it.
1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 11.
I want you men to pay close attention, because you're the ones that's getting hooked up and hoodwinked.
And if she depart.
If she flees from you.
Let her remain unmarried.
Let her remain unmarried.
Or be reconciled.
Or she got two choices. Remain unmarried or what?
Or be reconciled to her husband.
You go back to that Israelite man you lived with for a year, bumping and grinding all day long. You go right back to him. Those are the only two choices in this truth. The Most High does not give a whole lot of options. Two options. Who had their hand up over there? Come on.
If she's wife number 2 in a multiple marriage, would it be right to send her back?
What are we supposed to do with her?
No, not stay with, but like, you know.
That's why I said if she stay with us, she got to do what?
Stay unmarried.
Stay unmarried. You think these young 28-year-old girls going to stay unmarried? She going to be sitting around looking, he got muscles. His back looks strong. You take your behind right back to that dude you was bumping and grinding with. That's it.
Tell the brothers not to follow her on the way out.
Yeah, because that's her course. Because that's her course. What we should do. You understand? Now she got to bear her cross.
Right. Y'all heard what Deacon Lava said? That's her cross she got to bear. Because you know what? A lot of these women, they hear these scriptures. It ain't like they don't watch the YouTube videos. They know what we teach. They know what the other camps teach. But they see thug lover brother. Thug lover brother, and she get down with that. Now she realized thug lover brother is really a thug. He's smoking weed, taking her check, popping upside the head, and she gonna run to us. Is you united in Christ? Save me. We can't save you, sister. You got two choices: remain unmarried or go back and bump and grind with homeboy. We're not the police of Israel. Okay? That's her cross. You understand that, Bezalel? She has to bear that cross. If she's righteous and she know that this dude is the devil the Bible speaks of, what will she do again, Bezalel? She'll remain unmarried. Let's see how many righteous women we got that's going to follow that. You're going to be surprised, brothers. Mrs. Righteous, you're going to find out she the devil the Bible speaks.
Sister got needs.
Yeah, that's right. We've heard that a woman got needs too, brother. And we know women got needs. But your needs is all used up. I'm sorry. We back in.
That's the way it is.
That's the way it is.
That's the way it is. We're not going to sugarcoat it. That's what it is.
Exactly. Deuteronomy 24:1. Watch this.
Deuteronomy 24 and verse 1. When a man hath taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes.
He don't like her. Go ahead.
Because he hath found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement, and give it in her hand, and send her out of his house.
Now, why was there a need of a bill? What is a bill of divorce? What is that? A bill of divorce. Zakai, help us.
It's a certificate that states that you are no longer married to your spouse.
Exactly. And you know what's funny about that? You hear the same Israelites that say, we don't got to do no writing. That's the white man's paperwork. Let the woman do something wrong. His first thing is, I'm giving you a bill of divorce. What bill? What bill? Oh, now you want to write something? The hell is this? A lot of them don't write nothing. They just say that and say, get out. Now she's used up. After he done banged her, he don't want her no more. He put out the house, which fulfills, give me that one, there shall be no, that one. Give me that one. Deuteronomy 27:17, is it? 23:17? We coming back to Deuteronomy 24.
Deuteronomy 23 verse 17.
This is what happens when the brother sends the woman out the house. He mad at her. He don't like her no more. He used her up. Go ahead.
There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel, nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel.
So I want that first part. There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel. That's what happens with a lot of these Israelite camps. They dealing with the woman. They don't want her no more. She becomes the whore of Israel. That's why you women are simple. You lay down with a man and he's saying all the right things, but he is not bringing nothing to fruition that he said. You are gullible. Go back to Deuteronomy 24.
Deuteronomy 24 and verse 1.
And because of this teaching, a lot of Israelite camps are very angry with us. We've made enemies, but we could care less. We love them. They are people. They are our brothers. But we do disagree when it comes to marriage. The way that they're living keeps whoredom alive in Israel. Okay?
You know the reason why they're so mad at us? Because we're the doctors of the Most High's Bible. And all surgery hurts. And they don't want to be corrected. They don't want to hear they don't want the medicine that the Most High has given. It's like castor oil. Remember how I used to hate that medicine? But that was the best medicine to get over a cold. They got the screw face when your mother comes with the big spoon.
Exactly.
To give it to you.
Exactly.
But you got to take it.
Hold him. Give it to
him. I'm going to give you two kinds of Israelite men. Number one kind of Israelite man is the man, he may have a house in his name, a car, whatever. He meets an Israelite sister. He know he ain't going to be with her too long, so he does not want any papers with her that's going to allow her to get what? Half. So he's very slick. That's that type of brother. Then you got the bum Israelite. That's what I call him. The vagabond Jew Israelite, the bum brother. The son of Sceva, who ain't got nothing. He ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. You know your mom always said that to you when you were young. He meets a woman, she got a house, she got a car, she got this, she got everything going on. He want to get with her. He go, no, but he know he want to bounce eventually. He be all up in there for maybe a year, maybe 2 years, but he's free where he could bounce. He ain't got to work, he ain't got to do nothing. So those are the two type of Israelite men you got to watch out for. Who had their hand up over here? Thought I saw a hand. Yes.
I just wanted to bring out about that doctrine about the other camp saying that they can have multiple different wives. But here's the thing with that. Everybody tells you can have the multiple different wives, but after you finish having all these different wives and different babies, then what happens to the child support? What happens to taking care of all those different babies by all those different women?
That's right. Exactly. That's a good point. Good point.
You know what's amazing? Because when it comes to the wives, nobody want to get the papers, right? But how many of these brothers own cars? They got papers on those cars, don't they?
Yes, they do.
They're gonna get the white man's papers on those cars.
The white man's
They're gonna
paper.
get the white man's papers. They're not just gonna get some note. I own this car. No, they want the white man's papers because that's what's gonna hold up.
That's right.
Elder.
Yeah.
The answer to his question is, how many of them put up videos saying you're not supposed to take care of your wives or your kids or get a job? That's the doctrine. Because the most crisis coming. So don't get comfortable in this world. Y'all ain't see those videos go up? Yep. Where they say, they get mad at us saying, we take care of women, we take care of our kids, we deal with family matters. Okay, if y'all watch the videos, that's what they say. But they're on the street saying, don't get comfortable with a woman, don't take care of your kids. Okay, you're supposed to deal with prostitutes and the other nations. That's their doctrine, that's what they're teaching. I found a whole new batch of videos of other camps pushing that. Because there was only a few, now it's a lot.
Exactly.
A lot. I sent you one the other day, Elder. Remember the one I sent you? You were laughing?
Exactly.
You said it looked like a Wayans Brothers skit.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it looks like.
Okay? And they're saying this, it looks funny what they're saying, but they're serious. And that's what they're pushing out there.
And they look for dumb women to believe
And there's a lot of the dumb women because there's women commenting on them, praising them that they're doing the Most High's work. Okay, that's why we got to be so hard on y'all in here. Because there are people who believe it. Wife number 6, 7, 8, 9. And their thing is you're not supposed to take care of the kids. They say Jeremiah didn't take care of his kids. They name the prophets and say they didn't take care of their kids. You don't hear about them dealing with family matters. And that we're family matters prophets.
That's crazy. Back to Deuteronomy 24, and we're in 2 now.
Deuteronomy chapter 24 and verse 2.
Now listen good. I'm going to show you how this, what we're about to read now, is going to tie into something in the New Testament.
And when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife.
You hear what Moses, this is what Moses said. She may go and be another man's wife. Go ahead.
And if the latter husband hate her, and write her a bill of divorcement, and giveth in her hand, and sendeth her out of his house, or if the latter husband die, which took her to be his wife, her former husband, which sent her away, may not take her again to be his wife. After that she is defiled, for that is abomination before the Lord. And thou shalt not cause the land to sin, which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance.
So now, when we came out of the wilderness, Moses gave us this law. You had a wife, you didn't like her, you put her away. It said she could go and be another man's wife, but she couldn't go back to the first husband, right? Watch this. Get me Matthew chapter 19. Let's see what Christ said. Now what I'm about to show you is where a lot of Israelites fall off the horse at. This is it ain't this verse, but I'm going to show you another one right behind this to show you why they are stumbling. Matthew 19 and 3.
Matthew 19 and verse 3. The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? And he answered and said unto them, Have ye not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female?
Made them male and female, meaning at the beginning God established marriage. Go ahead.
And said, For this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. Wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore God hath joined together, let not man put asunder.
Let not man put asunder. Christ said no divorce. Let not man put asunder means no divorce. But watch the next verse.
They say unto him, why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement and to put her away?
Go ahead.
He saith unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives. But from the beginning, it was not so.
You got to understand how deep that is. Before Moses, Deuteronomy 24, there was no such thing as divorce. I'm going to say it again. There was no such thing from the time of Adam unto Moses. When Moses came on the scene, God allowed him to put that law in there. He said it was for what reason? For the hardness of our hearts. Now, how does that relate to us today? Watch this. Give Matthew 17:1. Because during the time of Christ, many Israelites glorified Moses as the top prophet. Moses and Elijah. Watch this.
Matthew 17, verse 1. And after 6 days Jesus taketh Peter, James, and John his brother, and bringeth them up into an high mountain apart, and was transfigured before them. And his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was white as the light. And behold, there appeared unto them Moses and Elias talking with him. Then answered Peter and said unto Jesus, Lord, it is good for us to be here. If thou wilt, let us make here 3 tabernacles, one for thee, and one for Moses, and one for Elias.
So meaning they all on the same level. Let's make a tabernacle for Moses, Christ, and Elijah. Go ahead.
While he yet spake, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them. And behold, a voice out of the cloud which said, This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear ye him.
Who can explain that? Right. Christ is over Moses. Christ is over Elijah. And that's what a lot of Israelite camps do not understand. Because when they want a divorce, what do? They run to Moses. They go, Moses says in the law, but what about Christ? The Heavenly Father says, hear Christ over Moses, over Elijah. But many Israelites today refuse that. They read that verse again, Isaac.
Verse 5. While he yet spake, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them. And behold, a voice out of the cloud which said, This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear ye him.
Hear ye him. He's the one you ought to hear. Okay? He's above Moses. He's above Elijah. Go back to Matthew 19 now.
Matthew 19.
And verse 8.
And verse 8. He saith unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives. But from the beginning it was not so. And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication.
So now Christ is giving you the only reason for divorce. Read the verse 9 again.
And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication.
If it's not for sexual sins.
And shall marry another, committeth adultery.
You're guilty of adultery if you do that thing. Go ahead.
And whoso marrieth her which is put away, doth commit adultery.
And whoever marries a woman in Israel that's put away, doth commit adultery. So Christ broke it down for us. So this supersedes all that Moses said about marriage. This takes precedence. Do y'all understand that? That's why when you even get to the topic of multiple wives, they never go into anything Christ said. They run back to the old agreement that we had. Okay? From there, get me 1 Timothy 1:1. Oh, we're going to get hate mail behind this lesson.
1 Corinthians 7 and verse 2.
Here you go.
Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband.
Now, in case you don't understand that, because some brothers who like to follow, who put Moses over Christ, they say, no, we could deal with multiple wives because our forefathers did it when they were in rulership in Jerusalem. Well, brother, we're not in rulership in Jerusalem right now. That second half of that precept said what, Isaac? Let every woman?
Let every man have his own wife.
I want the woman part.
And let every woman have her own husband.
If every woman has her own husband, are they sharing? No. If every woman has her own husband, There's no multiple marriages going on. Read that again, Isaac.
Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife.
See, my brother, this means that you can have one wife and two wives. This is what they do. I watch the YouTube videos. That means you can have however many you want. But the next part of that verse kills them. Go ahead.
And let every woman have her own husband.
Let every woman have her own husband. Her own husband. 1 Timothy 3. This is another one. The knucklehead that we just put out was fighting about, arguing about, trying to argue. 1 Timothy 3 and 2.
1 Timothy 3 and verse 2. A bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach.
Jump over to verse 12.
Verse 12. Let the deacons be the husbands of one wife, ruling their children and their own house as well.
See, Negroes that claim to be so educated in Greek and Latin and Hebrew cannot understand that the terms bishop and deacon are only levels in the priesthood. That's it. It's still another word for priest. Servants of the Lord. That's all it's saying. The bishop was senior, the deacons were the next realm. Okay, but it was all involving the priesthood. So we're all a nation, right now we're all a nation of what? Kings and priests. Now, when Christ returned, then Isaiah 4:1 with the multiple wives, 7 women shall take hold of one man. That's going to kick in, but that's on the other side. But right now, this is what we got to abide by. So 1 Timothy 3 is under Christ. All the other things about multiple wives was under Moses. Matthew 17, the Most High said, "This is my beloved Son, hear ye him." So all you brothers, you have a choice to make. Whether you're going to follow Christ or you're going to follow what Moses said. Because the Heavenly Father answered it for you. He says Christ is over Moses. Christ is over Elijah. Now if you reject that, the Lord, give me that in Acts 2 about, this is my son, about, it's around the last few verses. Go to Acts 2, I think it is.
Acts chapter 3 and verse 22. For Moses truly said unto the fathers, a prophet shall the Lord your God raise up unto you of your brethren, like unto me.
Like unto me means a mediator between the New Testament, the New Covenant, and the Father. Because Moses was the mediator of the Old Testament and the Father. He was the mediator. So Moses said, the Lord will raise you up a prophet like me. And it went so much beyond because Christ is over Moses. Read it again.
For Moses truly said unto the fathers, a prophet shall the Lord your God raise up unto you of your brethren, like unto me. Him shall ye hear in all things.
Him shall you hear in some things?
In all things.
In all things. Guess what, brothers? That includes marriage. You must hear Christ when it comes to marriage. A lot of Israelites reject that thing. Go ahead.
Him shall ye hear in all things, whatsoever he shall say unto you. And it shall come to pass that every soul which will not hear that prophet shall be destroyed from among the people.
Read 23 again.
Verse 23. And it shall come to pass that every soul which will not hear that prophet.
I don't want to hear what Christ says about the one wife thing. I don't want to hear what Christ says about a divorce. I don't accept that. I accept what Moses said, though. Shall what?
Shall be destroyed from among the people.
This is what you're going to, this is the times we're living in. I want y'all brothers to understand that. Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
Go to Timothy again. Because you're going to hear this a lot. I don't want to be a bishop, I don't want to be a deacon. That's what you're going to hear them say. That's what he said, right? Yeah, of course. It's like clockwork. 1 Timothy 3 and verse 2. Isaac, when you read verse 2, I want you to leave out the one wife part. You understand?
All right.
Just skip that.
1 Timothy 3 and verse 2. A bishop then must be blameless.
It's going into bishop is an elder priest, the elder, the lead priest. Go ahead.
vigilant,
serious,
sober,
clear-minded, not drunkard,
of good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach, not given to wine, no striker, not greedy of filthy lucre, but patient, not a brawler, not covetous, one that ruleth well his own house, having his children in subjection with all gravity.
Stop. Are these laws or suggestions? These laws pertain only to the elders or anybody else? So one wife pertains to everybody else or just the elders? That's how you smash them. That's it. Just leave one wife out and just do everything else. And go, does that law apply to just the elders or everybody in the congregation? Everybody. So what about the one wife? That's the elders too? No, that's how you smash them. That's why on YouTube, they call me all kind of nigga on YouTube. Just skip verse, skip one wife and read everything else. Is that law or suggestions? And I say you cut it. Cut it real quick just like that. Stay in that chapter.
Exactly.
That's it.
That's excellent. Excellent. From there, let's go to 1 Corinthians 7 and 28. We've read this many times before. Wait, so what we went over thus far, is everybody understand that? Who's confused about the one wife thing? Nobody. Very good. Who's confused about the multiple wives in the kingdom? Raise your hand. So everybody understands that. If you don't understand, just raise your hand. It's okay. I don't get it. What are you talking about? Nobody's raising their hand. Are you scared to raise your hand? We ain't going to pick on you. I'm giving you opportunity. All right. Yes. Take the mic. Take the mic.
I just don't understand the multiple wives in the kingdom.
Okay.
I don't understand that part.
Very good. Let's go to Isaiah 4 and 1. I just wanted to get there anyway. I want to go to Isaiah 4 and 1. I just like that. First, get me what Christ said in Matthew 19:28. Let's go there first. Is it 19:28? That what I want? I don't remember. Get it, Matthew 19:28. Let's start there first. Let me look at it. It's in 29. We're going to read 28 and 29. Watch this.
Matthew chapter 19, verse 28. And Jesus said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon the 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel.
So the 12 apostles, I'm going to start there, are going to be the top leadership under Christ that's dealing over the 144,000. Because there's going to be rank and structure in the new government that God is going to set up on the earth. Under Christ, you're going to have the 12 apostles. Under the 12 apostles, you're going to have the 144,000. Go ahead.
And everyone.
Now listen good. And everyone. Go ahead.
That hath forsaken houses, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children.
Oh, wait. Go back to that word. Did it say wives?
Wife.
Oh. Singular. Go ahead.
Or children.
That's plural. So they understand the difference between singular and plural. Go ahead.
Or lands, for my name's sake, shall receive in 100-fold and shall inherit everlasting life.
So Christ is talking about in the kingdom, right?
Yes.
So now, in the kingdom, you may ask, how are we going to get, it said, everyone that hath forsaken houses or brethren, sisters or father, mother, wife, children, lands, for my name's sake shall receive 100-fold. How are we going to receive 100-fold? Sisters, fathers. Now, you might ask, how are you going to receive 100-fold fathers? Because you're only going to have one father or mother. How are you going to receive 100-fold? Who can explain that one? I want some new hands. Levi, you're up. 100-fold fathers or mothers? I can't hear you.
100-fold fathers, meaning that that all the apostles that were above you, they're gonna be taking care of you from now on. They're gonna look over you.
You have a scripture to help us out?
Well, I get 1 Timothy 5:1.
Let's get that. 1 Timothy 5:1, Isaac. This is how you're going to receive 100-fold fathers and mothers. Because you're asking yourself, well, you only have one father, one mother. How the hell? How can you have 100-fold?
1 Timothy 5 and verse 1.
We went 1 and 2.
Rebuke not an elder, but entreat him as a father.
So an elder is to be entreated as a father. Go ahead.
And the younger men as brethren. The elder woman as mothers.
Y'all see that? Go ahead.
The younger as sisters with all purity.
Let's go back to Matthew 19 now. So now you understand the elder men are fathers, the elder women are mothers. So now remember, Christ is referring to the kingdom, right? Now, that's mine. Oh, okay, thank you. Verse 29 again.
Verse 29, Matthew 19 and verse 29. And everyone that hath forsaken houses, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother.
Now we covered all that. Go ahead.
Or wife.
Now the question is wife. How can you receive 100-fold when it comes to a wife? Let's go to prophecy, Isaiah 4:1. Thank you. I just love this chapter.
Isaiah chapter 4 and verse 1. And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man.
In that day 7 women shall take hold on. I know that's hard for some brothers to comprehend. 7. Some of you got trouble having one grab hold on you. Yeah. What does that day mean? That day. That day, Azariah, that day. What is that day? That day is the kingdom when we're on the other side. Come on.
And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name, to take away our reproach.
What's your name, brother? Your name. Yes, you. What is your name?
My name is Deshaun.
Deshaun. Okay, eventually going to get a Hebrew name. And women will say they are the wife of whatever, it ain't going to be Deshaun up there in that day. You're going to have a group of women. If you overcome, this is a prophecy of what's going to happen. Let's read on now.
In that day shall the branch of the Lord be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Israel.
Are we escaped yet? Are we escaped? We're still in captivity, in bondage. So this day is not yet. You will have Israelites tell you Isaiah 4:1 is now, but we're not escaped. We're still in bondage. And is the branch of the Lord beautiful now? No, brothers still strung out on drugs, crack, alcohol, porn. The branch of the Lord ain't beautiful yet. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass that he that is left in Zion and he that remaineth in Jerusalem shall be called holy, even every one that is written among the living in Jerusalem.
See that? Come on.
When the Lord shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion.
The Lord has not washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion yet. These are some filthy, I'm sorry. They ain't right. I'll just say it like that. They ain't right. Go ahead.
And shall have purged the blood of Jerusalem from the midst thereof by the spirit of judgment and by the spirit of burning.
Because you want to know when the women really going to get right? That bottom part right there. When he shall purge the blood of Jerusalem from the midst thereof by the spirit of judgment and the spirit of burning. What is that talking about? Bezalel.
Nuclear fire.
Nuclear fire. When these women see that bomb hit, you and brothers never going to have to argue with them ever again. Because right now a lot of them don't believe. I don't believe that. They're going to fight with you, argue with you. Wait till that missile come.
Elder.
Yes.
The scriptures say, in the day of thy power, thy people shall be willing. But when they see that, imagine seeing several heads roll down the street when they disobeyed your order. All of a sudden you have instant obedience. becomes instant.
I got a question for the men. Why does the Most High say, in that day he'll allow us to have the 7 wives? Why doesn't he let us do it now? All the hands should be up. Everybody's looking at me curious. All the hands should be up. Why is the Most High saying the only way you brothers are going to be able to deal with multiple wives is in the kingdom and not now? See, now I got to go to hands that's not up. You here.
Because we're going to need to have our houses in order.
Say that again?
We're going to need to have our houses in order now in order to be able to handle 7.
Because some of y'all don't know how to deal with one wife right now. Some of y'all treat one wife like garbage. Could you imagine a brother with 7 wives and he's treating all of them wickedly? Some of y'all don't know how to make one woman happy. You don't have a clue. Y'all run your mouth about how y'all was in the world, how you was with the women, and you were no good to them back then. Now there's laws and guidelines that you have to follow, and some of y'all don't know how to do it. So the Most High don't want y'all making him look like he's promoting whoremongering or woman bashing. Okay, because some of y'all are very good at that. But in the kingdom, when you're in your right mind, then you'll be able to keep peace. You'll know how to deal with the woman. So then you'll be allowed to be able to do that. But some of you right now do not know how to deal with one.
Exactly. I hope y'all understand that. Read on. Watch this.
Verse 5, Isaiah 4 and verse 5. And the Lord will create upon every dwelling place of Mount Zion, and upon her assemblies, a cloud and smoke by day, and the shining of a flaming fire by night.
Y'all saw the movie The 10 Commandments. Remember there was a cloud by day and a fire by night? On this day, it's going to happen all over again. That's what I tell you. It ain't over. The party ain't over. Go ahead.
For upon all the glory shall be a defense.
God's going to be a defense unto us in the wilderness. Go ahead.
And there shall be a tabernacle for a shadow in the daytime from the heat, and for a place of refuge, and for a covert from storm and from rain.
Now remember, where's Deshaun at? Remember Christ said, not only will you receive 100-fold mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, wives, then it said children, right? Go to Isaiah 60, verse 21 and 22. Here's the prophecy about the children.
Isaiah 60 and verse 21.
Because one woman ain't popping out 100-fold children. Go ahead.
Thy people also shall be all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever. The branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified. A little one shall become 1,000.
A little brother shall become 1,000, meaning he's going to have 1,000 children. How? One woman ain't popping out 1,000 kids. That's why Isaiah 4 says, in that day 7 were, and that's only a number of completion. Go ahead.
And a small one, a strong nation.
And a small one shall bring forth a small nation. A strong nation, excuse me. Go ahead.
I, the Lord, will hasten it in his time.
God said, I'm going to make this thing quick and speedy. He's going to bring Israel like that back. So don't worry. You understand, Deshaun? You understand what we've read? So these prophecies, that's why we believe these prophecies. We relish in these prophecies. We ain't got time to be arguing, fussing, and fighting. We want this stuff to come to pass. Okay? Job is bigger than what you imagine, because the disciples of Christ understood this truth is more than just about reading the scriptures. This truth is about action. This truth is about doing, and this is what the disciples showed us. Your job, brothers, black man, Latin man, is to look out after your brothers and sisters that have need. If they have need, you as a leader is to fulfill the need. If they have no food, what is reading a scripture to them going to do? If they have no clothes to wear, what is reading a scripture going to do for them? Nothing. Let's get that in James now. James told you about you faith-only brothers.
What the elder read in Acts
There was a system in place. Okay, people are going to come to us after we've read them the scriptures. Let's put something in place so when they come to us, we can help them.
This truth is about building the nation of Israel. They're going to come in sick. They're going to come in naked. They're going to come in hungry. It's not just read a verse. That's the part of it. I'm not knocking. That's the main thing. But behind that, we have to do those things necessary for them to survive.